This tutorial is for question 1 on the Microsoft Word 2026 exam paper. I've opened the MS Word app. Make sure you open the app because the online version doesn't contain all the tools required for this exam. So you can just click on blank document or go new and click on blank document. And just if you want a particular kind of document, you can select it down here. There's a good selection of templates you can use. But we're going to use the blank document. I'm going to save it first in order to avoid any calamities later. I'm saving it on OneDrive, so I'm going to go to File, Save As. Now ensure that you can see OneDrive City of Dublin before you start, because if you don't, you won't be able to save your document on that drive, and you need to do that in order to share it with me. Already created the official folder for the word processing module, which you made earlier this year, with your surname, your first name, and 5N1358, which is the module number. So within this folder, I'll go down to my version of it here. So Patricia Burke, or Burke Patricia 5N1358, click on it. There is the collection of work folder, and underneath that, I've saved the WP exam folder. Now, if you want to make a new folder, if you haven't made the exam folder yet, just click on new folder, put in the details there and go OK, and you will create it. Now, I'm going to click in to this, and I'm going to name the particular document that I want to put in there. So if you look at the brief, you will see the name that you're asked to call the document. In this case, the Atlantic Way Report Draft. And just go save. Now, before we start, I just want to mention one thing. Go to paragraph, click on the box there, go down here, spacing 0, and this should be 0 spacing as well. You just want it to be in single spacing, so you go single, go to set as default, and all documents based on the normal template, and go OK. Once you have that done, we are going to put in the headers and footers. So insert, go to insert and choose header, and choose the one with 3, and then type your name at the top, your class, and the date. Now we're going to go to the footer. So the footer again, it's the one with the 3. And down here, you're going to put WP exam. I'll just make the screen a bit bigger, and we'll delete that. And click on this and type in QQI 5N1358, and then the task number. So in this case, it's task 1. And you can either click in the middle or you can close header and footer. Next, we're going to go to the Teams menu, and under word processing and shared, we're going to go to student question 1 exam text doc. We're just going to download it. Now, just be aware for the actual exam, the material will be in the WP5N1358 2026 final exam material. So that's where you'll go to find the text for the actual exam. We're going to click here, or if it doesn't come up there, you can go to downloads as well. So open file. Now, you'll have to enable editing, and you won't be able to change anything. So what you'll have to do is, so I have restricted editing. So what you do is you select it all. You can treble click out there, or else you can go to select all on the home menu and just Control and C. Now we're going to, you could probably go file new, but we're going to go to the one we created earlier, which is this one. and paste. So I've pasted all the text. Now, once you have that done, turn on track changes under the review menu. So go to review and track changes for everyone. We will make a few changes and then I would advise you to switch to the no markup menu, because when you make a lot of changes, it can become very confusing and you could end up deleting your text without realizing it. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to select all the text. So you can treble click out in the margin, or else you can go to the home menu and select all. At a certain stage, I'm going to ask you to change the body text font to Garamond. So I'll just type in Garamond there. Garamond, and I'm going to make it size 11. Now you can do it at this stage, or you can wait until a later stage. So I'm just going to undo what I did, but at a later stage, you can do it as well. So I'll show you how to do it another way at a later stage. There are instructions for this question in a list at the beginning of the brief, but also on the actual text you will be amending, starting at page 5 on the brief. So I'll tell you when we'll switch to just looking at the text rather than looking at the list. So we'll start off with consulting the list about what you have to do. So I'm going to click up here, move it down a little bit. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to go to Insert, Cover Page, and you can choose the page you would like to use. I'm going to choose this one. And you will type in the document name. So down here, I'm going to put in my name. Now, you can change it a bit if you wish. So I'm going to select it all. And I'm going to go to the Home ribbon, and I'm going to make it bold, just to make it stand out a bit. Then I'm going to go down to the bottom of the page. In this case, you could type in the school name. The only things I want you to type in, but you can add in additional stuff if you want, are your name and the name of the document. Now, so course title, so you'll either be ELT, and I'll just put ELT and BMC. Okay. Now, I'm going to go down onto the next page. And on this one, I'm going to insert a table of contents, or create a table of contents. And I'll just go to References, Table of Contents, and I'll select the first one. And OK. In relation to this, I'm going to come back to it in a minute. What I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a page break. So the table of contents will be on a page by itself. And I just want to delete that to bring it up. And I will just check. Okay. So all the text at the moment is Times New Roman. I will change that in a minute. For the table of contents, you ignore the first heading. You select the headings within the report. So select them. And we're going to go to Style and choose heading 1. Then we're going to go down to the headings, ignore the first heading. I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to select heading under styles. Now, one thing you'll notice there is pints is spelled wrong. So we want POINTS rather than pints of milk. And then we'll go to the next heading. I think a good way to do this is click on the Discovery Points heading, go to Format Painter, and put it across the next one, so it will be the same. Now, I'm just going to do Control Z because I made a slight error. Now, the thing about this one, I've asked you to make it 14 points and bold. Okay. And bold. Now I'm going to click into this heading, and I'm going to go up to the Home ribbon and Format Painter. And I'm going to put it across the next heading. So I don't have to be doing them individually. I'm going to go again, Format Painter, and put it across this one properly. Okay, and then I'm going to scroll down for a bit until I find the next heading, which is signature points. And I'm going to go back up, click on one of these headings, and then go to the Format Painter on the home ribbon and just pull it across. Again, I'm just going to delete this extra space that's been put in there. And then I'm going to keep scrolling down until I find the next heading I need. And I'm just, before I go anywhere, I'm just going to click on this, and I've put in an extra letter space or character space, so I just want to get rid of it. So I'm not going to worry about the rest of the headings at the moment. We'll have a look later on. The next thing, and again, you could do this at the beginning, I ask you to set the margins to 2 centimeters. So you go to margins, custom margins, and we want 2 centimeters for all of them, the top, bottom, left, and right. And just go OK. Earlier, I showed you one way to do font size, but now I'm going to show you another way. So we want a font style for the body text of Garamond. So I'm going to select it and go to the home ribbon and go to Garamond. Sorry, I picked Calibri there. Garamond size 11. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that there. And I'm going to, again, go into the Format Painter, pull it across paragraph. And again, just pull it. So I think the other way is probably quicker and easier, but whichever one works for you. So yeah, so I'm going to go down as far as there. I've just noticed another, so I clicked this one. I noticed another heading, which was discovery points. So again, I'm going to click on the heading there, and I'm just going to go to Format Painter, and I'm just going to put it across this one. Okay, so then we'll go to the next Garamond section, and again, Format Painter, and I'm going to pull it down through the rest of it. And that's that. Now, the next thing you're asked to do is put a hanging indent in the first paragraph. Now, I think the easiest way to do that is just to go to paragraph, then under special, hanging, and you have to make it 1.5, is to do it there. Okay? You can do it here, but it can get a bit complicated and not be as easy to do. So I would recommend doing it that way. What I'm going to say to you is to go to the actual text for the Wild Atlantic Way report, which is on page 5. Now we'll go back to the list in a minute, but what we're going to do is do the actual text and make the changes that are as for in the text. So in some cases, the change will appear in both the list and on the text in the assignment brief. You can use either one, but I would say look at the text from this point and then go back at the very end and follow the rest of the instructions for the document. So I'm going to click first of all on Wild Atlantic Way report, and I'm asking you for Arial rounded. So we'll go down along. Arial rounded MT bold. There it is. And I'm asking you to bold it, center, and capital. So I'll go to the large A and the small a and just go uppercase. And the font size I want is 18. Okay. The next thing we're going to go down to is the Wild Atlantic Way, and I'm just going to increase the screen a little bit. Okay, so the paragraph here. Now you may see the odd line. That was as a result of my copying it from one thing to the other, so you can just delete them. So click on the Wild Atlantic Way, and it says NP, which means new paragraph. So you just put it in, leave a line space between the paragraphs. Next thing, we're going to go on to the next paragraph. Now, all subheadings, bold, font size 14, under table of contents, which you've done. While I think of it, you can go up to the table of contents, click on it, and you see up there, update table. And then that shows you all the headings that you've put in. The next thing is we're going to go down to phases of the Wild Atlantic Way. So the word way, I've asked you to make it a capital W. And again, you can just do it like that, or you can go up to select the word and go up here and sort sentence case or capitalize each word. And also the word the goes in before Inish on. There are some deliberate mistakes. You saw one earlier for points at the Wild Atlantic Way. So I'm not going to correct many of them. I'll correct a few. So at the top here was coast. Coast. So you can just right click and it offers you coast. So just change that. Now we are going to go down to phases of the Wild Atlantic Way. And after that, I've asked you to put in a page break. So I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. Insert page break here. So I'm just going to go up to insert and page break. So anything, I'll turn on the hide and show thing for you. So anything that I type before page break will go on that page. And anything I attempt to type on this page will move on to the next page. I'll just turn off the hide show thing. We've gone on to the next page. Now, on this page, I've asked you to delete 15 Wonders of the Wild Atlantic Way. And I'm just actually going to go back up and show you. You see this comment here? We'll go back to it at a later time when we go back to the list. And I'll be asking you to put in a reply in there. So just be aware of where it is. It's on the first page. Next thing we're going to do are bullets. Now, because I have put in paragraph, just look up again. Okay. When I put in a number, what's going to happen? I'll put in the number so you can see, and you can decide which number you want. Would you like 1 or, whatever you want? Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is you can click on these arrows to bring it back to the edge, or you can use left line as well. Now, what's happened there is because there is, if I turn on the track, or not the track changes, the hide show, you can see that I've put in a paragraph after that. But if I held down the shift key and the return key, I can put in what's known as a soft carriage return. And then it won't put in the additional numbers I don't want. I'll just turn that off. And at the minute, there are ways around this, but I'm going to do a very simple way, which is I'm just going to delete the extra number. So as you can see, the numbers automatically reset, so they stay in the right order, but they just move down. Okay, so these paragraphs just relate to one thing, so that's why I only want one number at the beginning of the paragraph in order to deal with it. And here, and then finally, the old head of Kinsale. Now, I'm just going to select those all again, because at the top of the list, I ask you to put the following list in a size 11 font, which you have, but also, and 1.15 spacing. So I'm just going to click on this arrow here, and I'm going to choose 1.15 spacing. Now you can also click in here, but it's easier just to do it like I just did after that. But if I held down the shift key and the return key, I can put in what's known as a soft carriage return. Then it won't put in the additional numbers I don't want. I'll just turn that off. And at the minute, there are ways around this, but I'm I'm going to do a very simple way, which is I'm just going to delete the extra number. So as you can see, the numbers automatically reset, so they stay in the right order, but they just move down. Okay, so these paragraphs just relate to one thing, so that's why I only want one number at the beginning of the paragraph in order to deal with it. And here, and then finally, the old head of Kinsale. I'm just going to select those all again, because at the top of the list, I ask you to put the following list in a size 11 font, which you have, but also, and 1.15 spacing. So I'm just going to click on this arrow here, and I'm going to choose 1.15 spacing. Now you can also click in here, but it's easier just to do it like I just did. In the sleeve lead paragraph under signature discovery points, I want you to find an alternative word for outstanding. Now you need to be careful with this, because I'm going to right click on it, and synonyms, there they are: excellent, terrific, striking, exceptional, great. But I'm going to go down to the thesaurus. Now, you need to be aware that certain words like outstanding can mean unresolved, which it means you didn't pay a bill, or there's something missing, or there's something not quite right. But we want the outstanding that means horrific, or in this case, we're going to go with wonderful. So let the mouse hover over it, go over to the arrow, and then click insert. And then that puts in the suitable word for you. Now we're just going to go down to Downpatrick, and we're going to put an apostrophe in there. We're going down to Killary Harbour. Now I already changed it, but that should have been a lowercase o, but in this case it's correct. Now we're just going to go down along, and we're going to go to discovery points of the Wild Atlantic Way. And just under that, I'm asking you to move the paragraph, this whole paragraph actually, with the heading and everything. Okay, and I'm asking you to move it there. Now, there are a number of ways. I'm just going to do Control and Z. There are a number of ways to do this. You can do it the way I did it, which is just catch this, hold down the left mouse button and move it. Or what you can do is Control C, copy it, and then paste it. The only disadvantage of that is if you forget to go back and delete the paragraph you moved. So that's why I prefer to use the other way. Now, in relation to this, from 15 of the Wild Atlantic Ways discovery point, I've asked you to justify down as far as, go back again, down, the end of the paragraph for that. So I've asked you to justify it. Now, that is in the alignment section, and on the home key, you just press that. And what it means is that the text is aligned against the left-hand side of the page and also aligned against the right-hand side of the page. On the next thing we have to change is West Ireland. Now, I've asked you to transpose. That should be a new paragraph. Just put that in there. Now, I've asked you transpose, and again, I have one of my lines, so you can just delete it. I've asked you to move west after Irish. So all you do is select it, and then you can just pull it like that, or hold down the left mouse button and pull it where you want it to go. Okay, so that's that. And then a little further down, and I'm just going to put in 2 letter spaces, I've asked you to have this run on. So basically it means I want you to join the 2 paragraphs together. Now, the other thing I'm asking you to do is to put in a footnote opposite signature discovery point. So you go to References, Insert Footnote, and then on the bottom I want you to type in 15 wonders of the wild Atlantic way. Okay. The other thing I'm going to ask you to do in relation to this is go to the insert menu, go over to quick parts and go to field. And I want you to put in file name. So basically it's putting in the file name I have on the top there. So I just go down, click on file name and go OK. Now I'm just going to close and go down to the next page, or this page. And I've asked you to bullet point these. So I'm just going to select them first and flights to Ireland down as far as there. And I'm going to go bullet. Now you can choose what bullet point you want to use. I'll just use the arrow here to move it back to the edge. If you prefer to use another bullet point, just choose the bullet point that you wish to use. And again, I need to bring it back to the edge. I've asked you to put the following list in 1.15 spacing. So again, go up to the arrows, 1.15 spacing. And the same thing happened as has previously with the numbers. So I'm going to take out the second little square because I only want one square to each, or one bullet to each paragraph. And so I've just done that, and I'm just going to Control and S to save it. The next thing I've asked you to do is delete this paragraph. So just press delete. And then I've asked you to type in note tickets for castles or online OPW portal. I would probably speed this up a little bit. Transaction, so I can tab along so it goes to the end of that word, larger groups. Now in relation to that, I'm just going to select it all. I've asked you to insert text, which you've done. Now I've asked you to indent the paragraph 2.5. Now on the sheet I've given you, for the right side I haven't put anything, but I'm actually going to indent the right side as well. You could type in 2.5, which would be a quicker way of doing it. So I'll do it the proper way here, 2.5. So I'm bringing it in from both sides, both from the right and the left. And then I'm going to put it in italics. Now I'm just going to click here. And on the next bit, type the following as the last sentence in the document as per instructions given earlier. So I'll pause this for a second and just, so I've typed that line in. So we're just going to select it. I want to center it. And select the word Atlantic and insert a link to the following URL. So I'm going to click on Atlantic. I'm going to go up to insert. I'm going to click on link. And then down here, I'm going to type in the link I want to put in. And so don't leave any spaces between the words for the website.com and just go OK. Now, if I click on that and hold down Control and press Enter, so Control and click, and the website has come up. So I accept all cookies, and there it is. So that's fine. Now you're asked to go to the home ribbon and find and replace. So we go to find first, find, and just type in phases and go back over here and replace it with stages and replace all. Okay, and let's replace 6 of them. So now we're at the end of the actual text instructions. So now we'll go back to the list. Now, you've done a lot of the stuff that you're required to do for the list, but there's 1 or 2 things you have left. So I'll just close this. I'm just going to exit out of that dialog box because I don't want it. So I'll have a quick look down through the list to see if I have done everything up to paragraph 11, which I have. Insert numbers in the margin to the right. To insert numbers, one of the things, I don't really want the number on the first page, but just as long as it's in, really. So insert, and I've page numbers and page margins. That's the one I want, and I want the right hand margin. And there it is. Now this screen comes up with different first page, because that means the number will not be on the first page, but it'll be on the other pages, which is fine. Okay, and just close header and footer, or you can just double click down here. The other thing, the footnote, I've asked you to put in the 5 wonders of the Atlantic Way, which you have done. And I've asked you to put in the file path to the right of the footer, which you also have done. Find and replace. Now, this we spoke about earlier. On the first page of the document, I've put in a comment. Should we mention the additional sites to visit around these locations? And I'm asking you to reply with no. So I'm asking you to put in a comment. No, this is primarily to highlight key sites on the journey. And you just go click on the blue thing, and that's it. The next thing I'm asking you is to remove the link that is currently on the words Malin Head in the numbers section of this document. So we'll just go down, and I seem to have removed it already. So what we'll do is I'll show you how to do it on the bit we did already, and I'll put it back in when I'm finished. So say, for instance, I want you to remove this particular link. I will go up to Insert, click on Link, sorry, on link itself. I don't need the arrows, and just go Remove Link. Yeah. Now I want to put it back in again, so I'm going to insert it again, and you just type HT. So it's already there for me, so I just have to go OK. So I put it back in. So on the next number, I've have add the sentence at the end of the document, and then select the word Atlantic and put in a link, which you've already done. Now, proofread the document for errors. I have some deliberate errors that aren't technically wrong. So look at stags there. That should be stages. So it's technically right because it is actually a word, but in this case, it's not the right word for what I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to ask you at this stage to go to File and Save. And basically, you're going to click on this again and just go Save. And it'll ask you, do you want to overwrite it, which you do. Okay. When you have that done, I want you to print up both the markup document and the non-markup document. So I'm going to go to Review. You have no markup. So what you will do is you'll go File, Print, and you'll print that. Now just go there, Print, and choose the printer. Then you will go back and you will click All Markup. And then you will also print that. Now you'll see all the writing there. So you'll just go up to that and print. My printer isn't on mine at the moment. Next, what we're going to do is make sure you save it. So I'm just going to go down to my folder again, into this, and click on that, and I'm going to save it. At this point, I'm going to save this as, so save a copy. And again, I'll go into my folder. I'm going to save this copy as the Atlantic Way Report Final Draft, and go Save. Now, I am going to save this as a PDF, but what I'm going to do first is go through it. Now, a quick way of doing it is you go to Track Changes and Accept. Now, I'm going to accept all changes. You could go through each one. So accept one, and they're showing me one, and I'll say, yes, I accept one with the points, stages. I accept that change. Now, a quick way of doing it is go accept and go accept all changes. Yeah. So then it's all done. So now I am going to look at the no markup. Okay. And I'm going to save. So save a copy, but this time I'm going to save it as a PDF. So just click on that and save. So when you're finished, you should have 2 documents in your folder. Okay. So I'll go back down here. So you should have 2 documents saved in your folder. So we will just close this. So if I look at my folder and I look at WP exam, so I have the first document I started working on. Then I have the second document where I had the track changes and I review them and accepted them. And then I have the final document, which is a PDF. So you should have 3 documents when you're finished. So that's it.